The Pope just released a 42,000-word document warning the world about AI. The man who invented the technology, Geoffrey Hinton, the so-called Godfather of AI, says 2026 is the year it gets good enough to replace almost everyone. 77,000 tech jobs were wiped out in just the first 6 months of last year. Wall Street banks are planning to cut 200,000 jobs in the next 5 years. And 71% of people are terrified. But here's the question nobody is asking. What if being replaced by AI is actually the best thing that ever happened to you? I know, that sounds insane. So let's actually think about it, because the other side of this story is more interesting than the panic. Let's start with the most uncomfortable argument. Most of the jobs AI is replacing maybe shouldn't exist in the first place. Think about it. Data entry, copy-paste reports, answering the same customer question for the thousandth time, writing emails that follow the exact same template every single day. These aren't jobs that fulfill you. These are grinds that slowly drain you. And yet we've spent decades defending them because they paid the bills. Here's the debate nobody wants to have. Is a job worth protecting just because it exists? Or should we only fight for the mobs that actually deserve a human being behind them? That's the question AI is forcing us to answer. Now here's where it gets really debatable. The Godfather of AI, Geoffrey Hinton, says AI is advancing so fast that every 7 months, it can do tasks that take twice as long as before. He's worried. He's genuinely scared. But let's flip that same fact around. If AI doubles its capability every 7 months, that means every 7 months, humans who use AI become twice as powerful too. A single person with AI today can do what an entire team did 5 years ago. A freelancer in a small town can now compete with a big city agency. A student with no money can access the same tools as a Silicon Valley engineer. The question isn't whether AI is powerful. The question is, who gets to use that power? And right now, the answer is anyone with an internet connection. Here's a stat that will surprise you. Forrester research found that over half of the layoffs companies blamed on AI are being quietly reversed. Why? Because companies fired people, assumed AI would do the work, and then realized AI alone wasn't enough. They needed humans back. Not to do the old tasks, but to do the new ones, the human ones. The ones that require judgment, creativity, empathy, and trust. So the real story isn't AI replaced humans. The real story is companies used AI as an excuse to cut costs, then discovered humans are harder to replace than they thought. But let's steel man the scary side for a moment, because it's real. The IMF says 40% of jobs worldwide are exposed to AI. In rich countries, it's 60%. And here's the part that should make you think. It's not just factory workers this time. It's lawyers, doctors, programmers, white-collar workers earning $80,000 a year. The Industrial Revolution replaced physical strength. AI is replacing cognitive routine. That's a bigger threat because we built entire education systems around training people for cognitive routine work. So yes, the disruption is real. The people who will suffer most are the ones who can't adapt fast enough. And that's not their fault. This is where the Pope's warning actually makes sense. He's not scared of AI. He's scared of inequality. Of a world where a few tech giants own the AI and everyone else falls behind. That's the real danger. Not the technology itself. So here's the uncomfortable truth hiding inside all of this. We've always known that a point is not the same as a purpose. For most of human history, people didn't have careers. They had skills. They had communities. They had meaning that came from what they built, who they loved, and how they showed up in the world. The Industrial Revolution gave us the 9-to-5 job. We started treating it like it was natural, like it was human. But it wasn't. It was a system built for a specific era, and now that era is ending, which means we have a choice. We can panic and fight to preserve a system that was never designed for human flourishing. Or we can ask, what do we actually want to do with our time, now that machines can handle the rest? Here's what history keeps telling us. Even when we refuse to listen, ATMs were supposed to kill bank tellers. Instead, banking expanded and more tellers were hired for human work. Spreadsheets were supposed to make accountants obsolete. There are more accountants today than ever before. Every technology that replaced humans ended up creating more human work. Just different work, higher work, more meaningful work. Is AI different? Maybe. It's moving faster than anything before it. The transition will be painful for many people, but the direction of history is clear. Technology raises the floor of what humans have to do and raises the ceiling of what humans can achieve. So what does this all mean for you? If AI is replacing your job, it's not the end, it's a signal that the task you were doing has become so simple, a machine can do it, which means your value was never in the task. Your value is in what you do next. The people winning right now aren't the ones fighting AI. They're the ones using AI to do 5 times more than they could before. They're the ones asking, what can only a human do? And the answer, creativity, connection, judgment, storytelling, leadership, is longer than you think. The Pope chose his name deliberately, Leo XIV after Leo XIII, the Pope who responded to the Industrial Revolution. He's not saying stop AI, he's saying make sure everyone benefits from it. And maybe that's the most radical, debatable, uncomfortable idea in all of this. What if being replaced by AI is not the problem? What if our problem is that we haven't yet decided what we're going to do with ourselves once it does? That's the other side of the story. AI might take your job, but it cannot take your curiosity. It cannot take your hunger to build something that matters. It cannot take the things that make you irreplaceable to the people around you. Every generation gets its own revolution. This one is ours, and maybe, just maybe, being replaced by AI doesn't suck at all. If this made you think, share it with someone who's scared, and subscribe because we find the stories nobody else is telling.